How's it going, everyone? My name is Matt. I'm going to be helping you automate your fitness business. Today, I'm going to be going over calendars and how you can use automation inside your calendar. Now, a lot of coaches I know live inside their calendars and they use it as a to-do list, as reminders for coaching sessions, as events for when to program for a client. So I want to kind of go through a tool I've been using and also go over how you can kind of use this to your advantage. Now, one thing I'm going to particularly go over is how to automate task creation in your calendar and also how to kind of manage your calendar in a better way. Now, I'm going to quickly bring up this here. I've been using a platform called Motion. So Motion app. So this one here, I just want to bring up their website. Hopefully it doesn't log me in because I don't want to log in. Cool. So it uses AI to plan your work automatically. AI is a stretch, but it uses pretty cool algorithms to move your information around in different places, your events and tasks, so that you can kind of have time blocking in your day without having to do it all manually. So it is a cool app. It's a little bit expensive for what it is. It sits at that what is it? It's like 20 USD a month if you pay annually, a little bit cheaper, a little bit more expensive if you pay monthly. So I'm just on the monthly plan. Here we go, monthly. It's like $34 USD a month. However, it's pretty good. And it does allow you to do a fair bit in terms of automation. So what the use case that I specifically wanted to make this video about is if you are onboarding a client, but you don't use any kind of templates for your coaching, you coach people bespoke. Now, some people do this, some people don't. It doesn't really matter, but I want to go through this specifically. So how to onboard people and get things moving in your calendar, without just using the standard Google Calendar app. Because if you're like me, you use Motion and you want to move things across. So let me just bring this up here. So I've got Zapier open. I've also got Make open because it's possible in both. Make is a little bit more complex in terms of their what modules are in here for Motion. So if we just go Motion and then take a look, we've got create task, update a task, get a task, search task, create a recurring task, delete a recurring task, create a project. There's a lot of information that we can do in here. Whereas Zapier only has a few of the endpoints: create project, create task, update task, find task. So not as much as we've got in Motion. However, I wanted to do both just to show you. So for example, we've got a type form onboarding, and this would be a step in, a bunch of your, this would be a single step in your onboarding process. So this is going to be just a small snippet, but it will be, cool. So I've got a lead gen form here. I think actually YouTube demo mums. This one's actually not a bad form. But I'm going to give you a situation here. Basically, you're onboarding a client. Her name is Christina. She needs a training program. You already know that the training program is going to be 8 weeks long. But after that, she'll need another training program. So in 8 weeks' time. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue with this here. All right, so we've got to create a task. So we've got our type form. It's just a new entry. I should be able to... Let me see if I've got some information on here. Yeah, cool. I've got some information here. This person's name is Jane. So we're just going to continue along with this. Now in Motion, we're going to create 2 tasks. The first one is I need to create a training program for this person. And then the other one is in 8 weeks' time, I need to create an additional training program for this person. So what we're going to do, we're going to go contact name. Name. We got last name, we got first name. Okay, Jane, and then training program. Schedule is inside my work hours, which I have set up on Motion. Due date is going to be, let's say, 2 days from now, 5 p.m. So 2 days from now, so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be the due date. Duration, how long is it going to take me to complete it? I'm going to say 60 minutes, which might be a bit bold, but that's fine. Create a training plan with, does this have a notes section? No, it doesn't. This is going to be our notes. Training program for this, for client and we're going to put in our form response answers in here. So form response. So in the description, it's going to have all the information that we want. Priority is going to be medium, and start date is just going to be like tomorrow. Now, what I like about Zapier right now is, well, they've introduced this recently. You can use like human dictation of dates. So if I say tomorrow, it's going to, whenever this workflow runs, it will take tomorrow. If it runs on a Wednesday, due date will be 2 days from then, which will be the Friday. I really like that instead of hard coding valuables. I think that lowers the barrier of entry of automation for people. So the next one we've got here is our deadline type. It's a hard deadline because we want to make sure that people show up. And auto scheduled, so it'll find the best time for me to complete this in the next course of my day is going to be true. Status is going to be, we can probably just leave this blank because it's not, or we just put to do. Project, I don't have any projects set up, and assignee is just going to be me anyway, so we can leave that blank. So we're going to press continue, and it's going to create this for us. I'm just going to skip that test for a second, and just give me 1 second. All right, cool, we're back up and running. I just had to pause that for a second, sorry. So we've got our task here, and I'm going to test it. So we're going to run a quick test. So it should create me a task in here. Now I set it just whilst you're away. I set it to YouTube in the task workspace. So I've got YouTube here. We've got Jane training program. So it gives me a list. It looks a little bit ugly right now. You can see when it is, the deadline is set, is for tomorrow. And it just got the information that we've inputted here. If I go into my calendar, we should be able to see it populate somewhere. So if we have a look here, at 9 a.m. tomorrow, it's found the best time for me is to complete that then, right? So for me, I look at my day and I say, cool, it moved things around. I had cold email campaign in the morning and it shifted it to suit my needs. Obviously, I'm playing a lot of golf this week, but that's fine. However, I think that is really cool. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to create a follow-up training program. And the way I'm going to do that is by pressing duplicate. Because, if you're signing people for, 16 weeks or whatever, you want to keep on top of how much programming you actually have to do. So in this situation, I would just clone that first module. I'm going to configure this, and I'm going to say due date, 8 weeks from today, and start date is going to be 7 weeks from today. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's see. So if we press continue and retest the step, let's see what it says. It's been sent effectively. And if we go back into Motion and YouTube, we should have 2 tasks, and it says it's future. Motion only schedules tasks for the next 31 days. Once a task can be fit within the next 31 days, it'll be auto-scheduled. So obviously, in this situation, it's now created a future task for me. And if we maybe scroll forward a little bit, I'm probably not going to flag it down straight away. It only schedules 31 days in advance. Cool. So in this situation, it is not going to bring it up. But once it does, so within 31 days, it's going to start scheduling it on my calendar, which is really cool. I think this is great. I think this is a great little functionality. And instead of creating a separate to-do list, you can just create this inbuilt it into your workflow. So that is all you need to do in order to monitor your training program creation. I'm going to do the exact same thing in Make. So I thought I might just do a double so you can kind of see. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go type form. We're going to go get a watch the response and the instant acid, the choose the hook. I might have to add this in. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to need to add a new one. My type form connection and form ID, we're going to use that same YouTube one. So YouTube demo mums, cool. I'm going to press save. So that's watching the responses. Now in Make, it's a little bit better practice to add in a second Typeform module here and the list the responses module. I've gone over this before and got this idea from my friend, a guy that I follow online, Nick. And basically what it does is, let's just get this YouTube. And it basically just lists off the form so that we can test our parameters and shit in here. So we're going to limit this to 1, so it only brings back 1 answer. If we run this module, we should get the same testing information we got from before, which was a woman named Jane. Fantastic. So we've got the 2 stages here. The next thing we're going to do is you would set multiple variables here. So you would go through and set these variables. So it's like name, and then it would be like Jane. So where was that? Jane. This is the answer. And then the next one would be like pretty much everything that you would have. But I'm going to skip this just for the sake of time because I'm running a bit short on it. But that's where you would, set your variables so that if you ever had to change any of your questions, you wouldn't have to go through and do it all again. We're going to search for motion. We're going to create a task. Now, this is where we need to be a little bit more dialed in with our, let me just pause this for 1 second so I can put in my API key. And we are back. So I've got my API key. You need to be a little bit more specific with this. So in this, for example, we're going to put name. It's going to be the same. So we're going to use Jane. So this one is the name. And then we're going to say training program. Workspace ID is just the YouTube one that I set up from before. And description, we can put in the answers to the questions here. So see, this is where Zapier kind of wins a little bit, because right now I would need to go through and write like name and then put Jane, for example. So like Jane. Oh, come on. And then email, I would need to put like email. So I'd need to go through and do all this manually. Zapier brings that big markdown list of questions, which is kind of cool. I don't know why Make doesn't do that. I would really appreciate it if they did. Maybe if they're listening, they can add this in. So what we've got there is our description. Our priority is medium. Our project ID, we're going to leave that empty. Status is going to be to do. Labels, we don't need to add a label. Assignee ID is Matt Lambourne. Now, due date, this is a hard one because Make in itself doesn't have that ability to do what Zapier just did, right? So if we look at our date and time, I could put in like, a specific date, but that would be hard coded. So it's not going to be beneficial. So I'm going to go like now, but we want to like add some time to it. And I'm not too familiar with like, I don't like adding and removing, what's it called? Dates and stuff. I'm just not good at the math. So what we're going to do is going to go now. So we're going to use the add days function. And if we go through this together, you can see it like has the string of characters, and then you specify the days afterwards. So if it's now plus 2, you would assume that it would be today plus 2 days. Duration is going to be, see, a duration can be one of the following: none, reminder, or integer greater than 0, and should be set in minutes. So 60 is 60 minutes. Start date is going to be now, and then deadline type is hard. Schedule is inside work hours. If I just scroll down, it's there. So this should work, should being the key phrase. So we're going to run this module only. Name is Jane, and we should be fine to leave those blank and press OK. Let's see if it works. We've got a success being shown. So if we go back into YouTube, the lowercase t is the one I just created, and it's put Wednesday for 2 days from now. So obviously one of my things was correct. But let's just open this up and see if I can see. Deadline is Thursday, so that's 2 days from now, which is great. So I was correct in the little function that I did. However, let's do the same thing we just did. I'm going to clone this module, and I'm going to do an 8 weeks from now as well. So this is going to be a little bit different. So add days, we're going to change this to the add weeks. So again, a bit more technical, but it's not too bad. So if we go add months. Where's add weeks? Maybe add weeks isn't an option. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, months. So in this situation, I will do months and I will do 2 months instead. So we're going to go now and then 2 months. So it should do 8 weeks or roughly 2 months. The issue with this is some months are longer than others. So it's not set specifically to that. So let's just go 8 weeks is times 7 is 56 days. So instead of doing that, actually, I'm going to change this to add days and then go 56 days. So add days to now, and then it's going to be 56 just because it's, I think it'd be a little bit better. So duration is 60. Start date is going to be the same as this. Can I copy and paste this? But minus 7 days. Yeah, cool. So we're going to say 49 days from now. So give you a week to program it. And we're going to press OK. And then I'm going to run this module only. We're going to say Jane again. Press OK. We've got a successful creation. Just saw it come through there. It's marked it as future again, which is exactly what we want it to do. And the deadline is the 4th of Jan. So that's exactly what we wanted it to do. Funnily enough, it wasn't that hard. I just had to use the right formulas and you'll be able to go from there. So I know this video was like a little bit all over the shop. However, I really like this in the workflow side of things, and it allows you to get a little bit ahead of more than just your onboarding. So you can think about this. If you have manual tasks in your business that you need to complete as a part of your onboarding, you can schedule them for yourself if they can't be done like fully automated. Now, I think the best systems are built on reality, and the best way that we can achieve that is through, okay, what should be automated and what needs to be done by a human. So in this situation, we're talking about writing a training program, but it may be something different. It may be like, schedule consultation for client at DEXA scan location. And you may not be able to do that fully automated, but you can create a reminder for yourself to do that so you don't miss it. And to me, that's not as good as an automation, but it's damn near close. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you wanted to jump into a community full of business owners doing automation and like learning more, especially in the fitness niche, feel free to join my community. I've locked it down so it's just fitness business owners. So if you're not a fitness business owner, I'm going to reject you. Even if you answer yes to my fitness questions and then you don't, and I can tell you're not a fitness business owner, I'm still going to reject you. Anyway, feel free to join. There's heaps of information here. I do like special posts for it, all that kind of stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for bearing with me on this one, and I'll speak to you guys soon.